What's going down? TTC, Niner Empire, your boy Danny G in the house. The Niners fall to the Seahawks 30-23. It was a hell of a game. If you're an NFL fan with no rooting interest, it was a hell of a game to watch. But as a Niner fan who absolutely hates the Seahawks, I wanted nothing more than for them to march in to Seattle and beat the 3-8 Seahawks. But that did not happen. So, anyway, congrats to all the Seahawks fans on here. Congrats to Pigpen. Congrats to Brandon Rogers. Congrats to Seahawks Presidio. Congrats to Seahawks Eddie, who was at the game. He messaged me. Shout out to him. Again, it was a hell of a game, but just not the result we wanted. So, apologize again for the late crow. It started off really bad with that injury to Trent Cannon, although he spent the night in the hospital in Seattle, and he's all right, because that looked bad. And, of course, Travis Benjamin came in to return kicks after that, and he had a pretty costly fumble. Well, not really as far as the game was concerned, but he had a big fumble at the beginning of the second half. So shortly after, though, the Seahawks, it's 4th and 6, and then Travis Homer just runs. They do a fake punt, and Travis Homer just runs it all the way in for the touchdown to make it 7-0 Seahawks. The Niners, as great as the defense played, they still struggled a little bit with the Seahawks running game and Travis Homer, Adrian Peterson, and Rashard Penny. And then our running game looked pretty damn good, too, with Elijah Mitchell. And, boy, is Elijah Mitchell, he's a baller. You know, I'm looking forward to both him and Raheem Mostert being in that backfield next season. And not only that, Elijah Mitchell, like, he's really tough because he got injured in that second half, and then he just came in and was able to finish the game at the end. The Niners defense was beasting. Azeez Al-Shire is a fucking beast. He had 16 tackles. DJ Jones was beasting. K'Wan Williams was beasting. Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead had a sack on Russell Wilson. The Niners defense looks so much better than it did at the beginning of the year. Niners defense looks so good these last few games. It looks almost like it did in 2019. Of course, the 2019 defense was still a lot better, though, with DeForest Buckner. But K'Wan Williams also had that crazy interception that ricocheted off Eskridge, it was for the Seahawks, and it just went into the hands of K'Wan Williams. That was a great play, but then, of course, the Niners found themselves at their own 1 yard line, and then Jimmy ends up getting sacked in the end zone for the safety, and that made it 23-23 at that point, and that kind of changed the momentum a little bit of the game, and as the Niners did not score after. So it was 7-0 Seahawks after the fake punt and then the touchdown. Then the Niners go 3-and-out on their drive after that, but then once the Seahawks are driving again, they fumble it, and then Emmanuel Moseley recovers it, and then right after that, Jimmy throws the touchdown to George Kittle, and that made it 7-7. And then after, neither team scores for a while, and then later on, towards the end of the first quarter, and that's put together a productive drive, and then Elijah Mitchell finds the end zone, that makes it 14-7, and then the Niners get a field goal to make it 17-7 at the beginning of the second quarter. And then towards the end of the first half, Jimmy throws a touchdown. Jimmy throws the pass to George Kittle, who just keeps running. He goes 48 yards. He almost steps out of bounds, but doesn't, and he gets a 48-yard touchdown reception. Boy, it sucks when you lose a game when George Kittle played so well. He had 181 yards and 2 touchdown receptions. George Kittle, I'm going to tell you right now, the Niners would not have come close to winning the Super Bowl in the 2019-2020 season. The Niners would not have played that well throughout that year. The Niners would not have came to that 8-0 start if it was not for George Kittle. George Kittle was a steal with that 5th-round pick in 2017. I just cannot talk about how much I appreciate George Kittle on this team. And it sucks when you lose a game to your division rival that's 3-8 when George Kittle plays so well. It truly does. But anyway, overall, As far as Jimmy goes, Jimmy looked all right. He threw for 299 yards and 2 touchdowns, which is good, but he also had 2 interceptions. The one to Bobby Wagner in the first quarter, and then the one in the second half as well were really costly. Jimmy bounced back pretty well after that Bobby Wagner one. A lot of times Jimmy will throw an interception and then he'll just bounce right back. That's good. But this game he had 2 interceptions, which is not that common for him actually. But as far as I'm concerned with Jimmy, he's an above average quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but he's just not the answer for this team right now. Well, I think he should still be the starter for the remainder of this year, but I'm sorry, I should say he's not the answer going forward. He's not the future, and that's, of course, obvious because the Niners gave up so much, gave up a first-round pick for the next few years just to get Trey Lance. So, obviously, your Trey Lance is the future. So, my question to Kyle Shanahan is, why have we not seen Trey Lance at all in these last few games, despite with the one exception of seeing him in that Jaguars game a little bit when it was a blowout? Why have we not seen Trey Lance get any reps when we saw him actually get reps at the beginning of the year like he should have? In that Lions game, week 1, we saw Jimmy start and we saw Trey Lance play as well. In that Packer game, it was 2nd and goal. The Niners were kind of struggling a little bit in the goal line. Boom. They throw in Trey Lance, they put him into the game, and they run it in for him with the touchdown. That was a play the Packers just did not see coming, kind of came out of nowhere. Yesterday, what Kyle did is he decided to use Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm sorry, not yesterday. On Sunday, what Kyle Shanahan decided to do is he decided to use Jimmy Garoppolo on those RPO plays, which Jimmy looked okay. Jimmy's an okay runner, actually, but he's injury prone, and that's just not his style of play. And then, in fact, one of the big runs he had actually was called back on a penalty. Other than that, he's had a lot of costly penalties. Trent Sherfield, one of the players that I believe had 2 penalties. But why are we not seeing more of Trey Lance? Yes, Jimmy should still be the starter for the remainder of the year, but why are we not seeing more of him? Because Trey Lance is going to be the starter for the 2022-2023 49ers. And he's going to make a lot of rookie mistakes. So why not give him some reps this season? Why not let him make some rookie mistakes so he doesn't make as many rookie mistakes next season and he can actually help lead the Niners to the promised land? Well, okay, I'm going a little ahead of myself. We need to see him at least prove that he can get the Niners to the playoffs in this tough NFC West. Which, do I think the Niners will make the playoffs this year? I did say before in my Hate Week video that if they did not at least win this game by 10 points, that I was going to lose a lot of confidence in them putting together a playoff run or even making the playoffs. I could still see them making the playoffs. I could still see them getting that second wild card spot, but this is not the year that the Niners are going to win the Super Bowl. That's just not going to happen this year. So I want to see Trey Lance get some reps. The Niners could have won this game, and it was 30-23 Seahawks for most of that second half. Both defenses played really well. And Pete Carroll and the Seahawks decided to go cute and go for it on 4th and goal when all they needed to do was kick a field goal, and that basically would have made it a 10-point game and would have made the rest of the game unreachable almost for the Niners. But they go for it on 4th and goal. They get the first down, of course. But then they get a fumble, and the Niners recover, and then the momentum is finally on the Niners' side again when it was pretty much on the Seahawks' side for most of that second half after they went up 30-23. So the Niners just did not execute when they needed to. Jimmy and the Niners should have gotten into the end zone after that, but they did not, and the Seahawks prevail. They win 30-23. So now, is Trey Lance going to be a better quarterback next year in the sense that he's going to be able to win games when he needs to, actually lead the Niners down the field when the game's on the line, because Jimmy has looked quite a bit better in these last few games. He has, and I could see him being I want to see Jimmy on another team next year and being their starting quarterback. That's what I want to see, because Jimmy is good enough to be a starting quarterback. He's good enough to be the starting quarterback of the 2019 Niners, the 2020 Niners, and the 2021 Niners. But as far as the 2022 Niners go, he should not be on this team. If he wants to take a pay cut and back up Trey Lance, I'm all for that, but I just don't see him doing that. I see him being a starting quarterback on a team next year, and that's what needs to happen. Anyway, that's all I got. Danny G is out. Niner Empire, one team, one family, one goal. I apologize again for the late crow. Congrats again to the Seahawks fans. I hate your guys' team, but you guys beat us and in a hard-fought matchup. Anyway, that's all I got. Dana G is out. Peace!